Hello, welcome to Birth Reunited. My name is Alicia,
I'm Yvonne.
and we are two ladies that are starting a YouTube channel that has a lot to do with adoption.
Yeah, we believe that there's many things that we've been doing wrong with adoption, and it has caused our children a lot of harm emotionally. The breaking the bond has caused all kinds of social issues.
Behavioral issues,
Yeah.
mental issues.
Mental issues leading to criminality. Actually, in some cases, they have reactive attachment disorder, and we believe that there's a way to do things better that haven't been looked at. And
And we're hoping that we can help make a change in how adoptions happen or how kids are treated once they're adopted, to hopefully help them have happier, more fulfilling lives.
and we're hoping to change adoptive parents' perspectives in terms of trying to pretend like they're not infertile by adopting a baby. Instead, that they go ahead and grieve before they even entertain adopting a child, because adoption is supposed to be about the kids, not about owning somebody or pretending like you're fertile when you're not, just because you've obtained a child. Yeah, we need to think about the kids. It's all about the kids, and it's been being done wrong.
And if you're against adoption, go ahead and go watch another channel, because we're not for adoption. We're not against. We're just here to teach and hopefully help and provide assistance in a community. And that's all stuff that we'll talk about in later videos.
Yeah, I mean, adoption's not ideal. Sometimes it has to be done, and sometimes there's no choices for that.
Yep.
In my friend's life, it's been a good thing for her. Otherwise, she may not be here today, and I'm glad she's here. So
We thought we'd just very briefly share how adoption has affected us, and we come from different perspectives, but also coming from different perspectives will hopefully provide more of a rounded look and a view of adoption. Now, my experience with adoption is quite simple. I'm an adoptee. I was adopted with my older brother when I was 3 and he was 4. We were removed from an abusive home and adopted by two parents who I love dearly and did the very best they could to raise me. And I think I learned a lot from how they raised me, and that's definitely stuff that we'll talk about as things that could be done differently for the children and for the adoptive parents as well, and actually the birth mother.
yeah, we've always left her out. For some reason, the birth mom, we've always threw her to the curb as soon as we got the child. And
birth mother is a very, very important part of the picture and of the puzzle. She's a big puzzle piece.
Yeah, and if we do it right, the damage to the child is
lessened. Yes,
a lot lessened. Yeah.
So we definitely want to include lots of resources for birth mothers.
We have discovered that the bond is not even going to happen ever to anybody but the birth mom. And we've been taking that away, not allowing the child to bond with anybody, which is irreversible damage for their life. And that's not okay. If this is in the, quote, best interest of the kids, then that's what we need to think about. That bond is vital, and we have to allow that to happen. And
there's a lot of damage that's done to adoptive kids and then adoptive adults, because people don't usually talk about older children or even adults that have been adopted at some point in their life. There's always adopted children, but those children grow up into adults.
They do.
And the way
we want to make them functional.
Exactly. The way the adoption is handled, both between the adoption agency, foster care, the adoptive parents, the biological parents, family members, that all plays a role in how the child develops and grows into a functioning adult.
Or doesn't.
And that is one of the things that we'll be covering in a video a little bit down the line. Yep. There's so many interesting things that we want to talk about in hopes that we can help make adoption a little bit easier on those kids.
Especially now that we've outlawed the abortion, and we've had deficiency, they say, in white children, which is really weird, because we're still sending children across the borders to adopt them, but they're not being made available here in the United States, and that's weird. So now we're going to have even more children, white children, and of every color children. I understand that they think it's going to be more black kids and more Hispanic kids, yes. But it's going to be everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being realistic, and I understand that it might be larger in some populations than others. Anyway, there's going to be more kids, period. Now we need to get this right.
And just about the abortion thing real quick.
Yeah.
This isn't a channel about abortion, so we
Or
won't
against not-
talk
not
about it.
talking-
Yeah. I would like to say that since Roe v. Wade has been turned over, it's now up to the states. So it's not illegal in every country, every state. So just,
It is or is not?
it's not illegal in every state. It just gave the right for the states to decide if it was legal or not in their state.
Okay.
It's still legal in quite a few states. Anyway, so as I was saying, I will let you know that I do have ADHD. I have rather a large raging case of ADHD. She will vouch for me. So if I get distracted, you know why. No, just bear with me and I will get back to the point eventually. I was talking about myself. So I am the second oldest child to my biological parents. Initially, we just knew very little. We knew that there was 2 kids, possibly 3, and then later on, as my siblings started looking for us, we found out that there were actually 6 of us. Anyway, it's a long story, and I won't go into it in great detail in this video. That's something that we can talk about as we talk about different subjects. I will relate my experiences, and you'll learn a little bit more about my adoption process, my experiences before I was adopted, and then what happened after I adopted. So we'll get to that. I'm just not going to go in great detail. But anyway, second of the 6 kids, 2 of us were adopted together. There was a brother that was born after me that I did know about, and then there were 3 other siblings I didn't know about. The good news is, guys, if you're interested in reconciliation or being reunited with your child or your birth family, I have now met all but one of my biological siblings.
Yay!
And I have a relationship with, well, I would say 4. Well, my little sister, we're working on that relationship, but one of my brothers passed away. But everyone else I've actually either met in person or I have talked to or I have emailed, whatever. So that stuff will also, a subject will also cover in videos, in future videos. I know that a lot of people are really interested in reconciliation.
Yeah.
Which I also think is a great part in helping an adult adoptee to heal from the adoption.
I think so too. And even if the relationships don't go well, at least hopefully you can get some questions answered.
Yes.
And you can feel like you're complete, like you've done your part. And remember, we're here for you. So if you need some ideas about how to communicate back and forth and keep working on that relationship, they're worth it. All relationships are a lot of effort. So
just from my personal experience, as Yvonne said, getting in contact with your biological family, whether it's a sibling, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, your birth parents, goes a long way in helping the adoptee to heal. And if they're allowed to have those relationships when they're little, when they're growing up, it will go even further to help.
what did you find?
Well, as a lot of adoptees, I'm speaking for myself, but I know that this is pretty common with adoptees, is a feeling that part of you is missing. There's a big hole in your heart. There's something that just, you're not a complete human being. Along with the feeling of maybe not feeling wanted, and there's so many feelings that come with being adopted. But ever since I found my birth family, and I have not really in contact with my birth mother, my birth father has died. But since I've been in contact with my siblings and my aunt and my grandma, I feel a lot more complete. I wouldn't say completely complete or completely whole. There's still a little bit of a hole, but it's made a huge difference. So if you are thinking about looking for your family members, if you've been adopted, or a birth parent wanting to find their birth child, I highly recommend it. It has changed my life.
A DNA tests go a long ways.
Yeah,
And
that's how they found that. That's how they found me and my brothers, through DNA testing.
Yeah,
So.
and we do recommend. What is it?
Well, there's lots of different
There
places.
There is, but some have more.
Ancestry.com, 23andMe. There's all kinds of different.
Those are the 2 I was
yeah.
thinking. That's great.
We used Ancestry. That's what my siblings used. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let her tell her story here in a minute. Hers is, like I said, it comes from a different perspective than mine. Mine is from the perspective of an adoptee, and hers is, you'll learn her perspective in just a minute. But I would like to say that I've been able to do a lot of healing in my life since I've met this lady right here, because of she brought adoption to the forefront of my mind and encouraged me to start looking into it more. And we started a website, and that led to other things. if it wasn't for her coming into my life, I wouldn't have as much healing as I have had now. And I know there's a long way to go, but thank you. So
Thank you.
important to have that. So I'm going to turn it over to Yvonne here so she can tell you how adoption has affected her.
I'm a grandparent of a child that was placed for adoption. She was placed because my daughter couldn't get her medication. She couldn't get her medication because she applied through the state of Oregon for medical assistance and they denied her numerous times, or they just wouldn't see her. So she was going without medication, and I fought it for several months. When I asked them for assistance, instead they came to get her, promising me that when they did that I would be there, and they would hand her to me, not take her into care, which they lied. And they took her, and if this was investigated, I'm sure it's all done illegally. Anyway, it was medical neglect, and that's why she never got her daughter back. My daughter jumped through hoop after hoop after hoop, did everything that she was supposed to do. My father did nothing, and yeah, they had decided early on in placement that she was going to be sent with dad, even though dad had to do nothing, even though he was an abuser. And yeah, so they wanted him to have her, so that's why they placed her in Hispanic houses where she was taught racism, which is terrible. I don't care what nationality you are, you should never teach a child to hate anybody. Regardless of what your personal reasons are, you should never breed that to your
And
kids.
they don't hate. That's something that they're taught. That's not.
Yeah,
it's not
they're taught.
ingrained,
Yeah. Anyway, when she visited with her aunt, she said some horrible racism terms to her, and yeah, about being white, actually. So racism works on all sides of the fence. It crushed my daughter, of course, who couldn't understand that anybody that age would even have such a thought, which is incomprehensible.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, to say it short. And that's where she stayed, in a Spanish-speaking house, until they decided to place her, well, a number of houses, actually. I believe that he will make good come of this. So in order to protect children in the future, we need to make some changes and make sure that everybody does things by the book. And we're thinking really, truly about the kids and not about who has the most money and, who we can subject that is poor, and we can take their kids and give them to somebody with more money. That really should be up to them. And I don't think just because people don't have money, it makes them bad parents. I don't believe that. Going without is good, because we have a world full of entitled kids that got everything they ever wanted, and that's not always a good thing. I think they should work for what they get.
And then you have one other.
I have a lot of other stories.
Yeah, sure. One other story of how you're connected to adoption.
I was connected to adoption through another. When I was a very young child, there was a lady in my life. It was my mom's best friend. And I was really young, and she adored me, as she treated me like I had never been treated before. Just loved me to death. And I didn't know why, but looking back now, it all makes sense. She had lost a child to her mother when she was quite small. When the little girl was quite small, she was given custody of her, and she never let her see her again. So she missed her daughter, and she put that bond on me. I bonded with her. I did bond with her. Probably not a good bond, not a healthy bond, because that was really not meant for me. That was really meant for her daughter. But she placed that love on me instead, because she couldn't give it to her child. And her mom didn't even let her daughter go to school, to public school, because she wouldn't let anybody see her. She never got outside to play in the yard. She was owned. Mom, she picked a bad guy. She had 2 more children. They were little boys, and they lived in a tiny travel trailer. Not that they had to. She picked to do this on purpose. She lived in a tiny travel trailer, real close to her mother, I think hoping that she could just get a glimpse of her daughter outside one day, and sneak over to her house during lunch and go have lunch with her and visit with the boys, and then go back to campus. And I noticed a difference in her one day. Just noticed that she had a big black eye, and she wouldn't let me in, and that was weird. So I went back home and told my mom about it, and Mom couldn't reach her by phone or anything because she didn't have a phone. So she just worried about her, and within the week she killed her 2 little boys, and she killed herself. What we're doing to these birth moms is horrendous. This injury that we are doing, they're not disposable. Do you think these children that you want to pretend like are yours so bad, they're not disposable either. So if she's disposable, what are you saying about your child? So how can we treat them this way? We need to love each other. This is a community effort. They say what
It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah.
Exactly. And what are we trying to do?
So this actually leads us to were you done talking?
Yeah.
Okay. To the whole purpose of this channel.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit complicated. As you heard, we have come from different perspectives for adoption. Mm-hmm. We have an adoptee and then a person that has been definitely negatively affected by adoption. Mm-hmm. And we
very negative.
Very negative. And this channel isn't going to be all negative. We'll get some nice, happy stories in there, and we'll try to lighten things up in the future. So we do apologize if this is a little bit dark.
And we welcome other people to tell their stories with us.
We want subscribers and friends to share their stories with us, and I think that'll be great. There'll be a way for people to share their stories, which is one of the, I guess, the goals of this channel. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of, we're going to call it our, what do we call it? I forgot the word. I'm going blank. All right. I'm going to list the reasons that we decided that we wanted to do this channel. And we can talk about them if you want, or add something else.
Sure.
So the first reason is to create a community of people that have been affected by adoption.
That's a lot of us out there.
Rather it's an adoptee, rather it's a family member of an adoptee, or how if you've been affected by adoption at all. This is a home, a community, a place for us to get together, to share stories, to help each other, to encourage each other. It is a place to help people that have been adopted, or that people that have experienced trauma from adoption. And that could be for the adoptive child who experiences trauma, and we will talk about that in another video. That could be the trauma that's experienced by the birth mother. It could be the trauma that's experienced by a grandparent. There's a lot of trauma that comes from adoption, and we'd like to
feeling pretty powerless here.
Yeah, we would like to create a place to talk about that, and also resources to help overcome that trauma and make it a little bit less substantial, I guess you could say.
We have to go on. So
yes.
The bottom line is, what can we learn and what can we do with what we've been given?
Right.
So we can embrace each other. We can come to some more understandings. We can give you some great referrals for books and stuff like that. We can grow together. So that's what we're here for.
We want to help people find a purpose to what they've been through. We want to assist people in healing, and with whatever healing you need in regards to adoption, because we know that adoption is a whole wide range of
Yes, it really is.
Of issues. So, and there's all kinds of healing that needs to occur with that.
Some people more than others, and some people,
And some of the healing, if things are handled right, doesn't have to happen at all, because those things can be addressed when they're little to keep that healing from even being needed. And we'll definitely discuss that.
It's true. If they have a very supportive family that raised them or adopted them, then some healings don't actually, then they just need to fill the hole.
We also want to assist, not really assist people because we can't find them, but we want to encourage and offer resources to help those who want to reconnect with their birth families. Not professionals that go out and can find, long lost family members, but we want to provide resources, groups, different things like that, that people can use to hopefully get reconnected with their families, because that is if possible, it's a huge help for the adoptee.
And we will continue to dig and continue to add those resources to our birthreunited.com website. So we're going to do the work and hopefully make it handy dandy for you to find.
We also want to be a support system for people. So this isn't the book she was talking about. I'm reading a book called, we're both actually reading the Primal Wound. This is, some people consider this the adoptee's Bible, but this has a lot of good information in it. And then there's another book that I do have. I don't have a hard copy of it. It's called Adoption Healing.
It's Adoption Healing, yes.
And you can even get an e-copy of that, which is what I have. And you can get an audiobook. It's a very good resource for adoptees. And I will get links to these. I'll put them in the description below. And I will also put it on our website.
And we do want to encourage you to do that, of course, or to read books about adoption and to. But we want you to be kind to yourself as you go through this. Don't don't try to read it fast.
These are hard, heavy-hitting books.
Yeah.
They're not easy to read.
Read a little bit at a time.
Yes.
Take some time off, digest it, work through
Exactly.
it, talk to friends, talk to us.
Part of this adoption education is also to encourage people to get a therapist or someone that they can talk to, which is something that I actually need to do. I need to get back to therapy. Because there's a lot of heavy stuff, and having someone that is trained that can help you work through all this heavy stuff is really important. So I highly recommend, getting some kind of counseling or something, because as you're going to find out, especially as we do more videos, how much adoption affects the child
Forever.
forever. It affects every aspect of your life, and I promise you, we will go into depth about this in future videos. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, as far as what the purpose for having this channel, a little bit of selfish reason, my personal healing. That's a good reason to have it. But also,
Mine too, but also for a purpose.
Yeah.
Period. And there's got to be a purpose in what I lost.
Yeah.
And
it helps. It doesn't make it easier, but it
and in
makes
memory
it more,
of her.
Yeah, it just makes it maybe a little bit more bearable, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I do know that the mothers have a hole in their heart, and some of them, I mean, as for you, you may or may not have connection with your mother on purpose. And that's okay, because you can choose that. I mean, if you've made a connection and you've decided that's not good for you, good for you. Seriously, that's all
Do what's
up to you.
best for you.
Yeah, definitely do that. So,
And then I was going to say,
did we cover the read your, go slow, and we covered enough there?
yes, we did cover that.
Okay.
The last thing on my list here is to help, especially the adoptee. I think this is more pertains to the adoptee than to someone else, but a lot of all adoptees handle their adoption and their rejection in different ways. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us, including me, turn to becoming people pleasers. And we never have a chance to develop who we really are. Mm-hmm. The real Alicia, the real Yvonne, the real anyone.
Because people are, when they adopt you, they want you to be their child.
And
which means they want you to have their mannerisms and
Yes.
their everythings. And you're not you.
Yeah.
You're not the authentic you.
You don't learn the real you because you're trying to please your adoptive parents in every way you can.
That's not cool.
And there's reasons for that we will discuss. And I'm saying this a lot, but that's something we'll discuss in another video for sure. Actually, pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah.
But we want to provide a place where people can find out who they really are.
It's not easy to get to sometimes when you've been
I'm
denied that for a long time.
46, and I'm just starting to work on that. So.
Well, we love you.
Thank you. Anyway, basically the reason for the channel. We have a website. We will link below and then in the description as well. It's birthreunited.com, and we will share all the resources that we share with you in the videos and many more things like that on the website. So be sure to go check that out.
And we'll add your stories.
We'll add your stories. There's a form you can fill out to share your stories if you want, and we can put those. I can put those up on the website for you if you want. You can also say, hey, I want to share my story on a video, and we can do that and put it on the channel. So there's all kinds of options. Sometimes sharing.
We can do a Zoom, and we can do that from your place and our place.
We can even do that in a video. Yeah. There's so many options, but sometimes sharing your story can really help. So we have a website, www.birthreunited.com, and I will link that description. So I can have all kinds of information, support groups, anything that we talk about in the videos, and other things like that. There's some brief description of our stories. We also have an Instagram page that I will link down below, so you can go check that out. And we have a Facebook page. Well, it's actually her Facebook page, but
Souls Needs Unconditional Love. That's under Yvonne Cram on Facebook. In my group, it's a group. Wounded Souls Need Unconditional Love, and that's the name of the group.
And that will be linked in the description below. All of this will also be on the website. Links that you can click on to see the stuff. And that's all that I pretty much have here that I think we wanted to talk about. But is there anything else that you wanted to?
Well, other than putting our agenda up there, maybe what our next class is going to be.
So let's see if I can remember what the next video I think that we were going to do was. See if I can remember this. Do you remember? how to say it. She sent it to me in an email, I think. Oh, there is one cool thing up on the website. There's an attachment quiz that you might want to check out. The next thing that we want to talk about is attachment issues that comes from being adopted, I think.
You sure you want to go there first? I was
Or we could, what was the other thing?
abandonment.
Okay, abandonment issues, all right. They're all kind of interconnected, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to talk about abandonment issues, how they arise, how they affect people, share some resources to help people with them, and I'll share some more personal experiences about that, and if you have anything to add to that in the video as well.
We're aiming to get these out every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday we will. If for some reason we won't have a video up, I will let you know on Instagram, on Facebook, so we'll try to keep you updated. The Instagram page is there, and the Facebook Instagram page is there primarily to keep you updated on what's going on with the channel. So be sure to subscribe to that or join that, follow that. I guess on Instagram is what they do. But yeah, so we're working on that abandonment.
Abandonment will
Abandonment
be the
for the next video. Coming soon will be. I'd like to do a video the pros and cons of adoption.
What about identity?
Yeah, and say it again.
Identity.
Yep, identity.
So we have got a month laid out for you, and the next one will be on abandonment. And yeah, so join us next week.
Join us next week. If you like what you've seen today, go ahead and click that thumbs up button that you see in the corner and underneath the video. And what else should they do on YouTube? Should they subscribe to it?
Subscribe, maybe. Make a little alarm go bing, so
there's a notification bell that you can touch, so you'll get the notifications.
And share it with anybody that you know has lost a child for adoption, and let them know that we love them and we appreciate their sacrifice. And yeah, it's a big gift, biggest ever. And share it with your friends, family, loved ones, anybody that has been adopted also. So.
And if you see that link to our website in the description below, make sure that you share that too with people. There's already videos, and there'll also be links to adoption groups, things like that. I think that's about all that we want to say. Just don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like what you see, come back on Fridays for a new video. Yep. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you. Bye.